over here is another smaller wedge, as you can see. And it goes more and more and more interesting. So, isn't that really, really neat, guys? Gals, kids? I love teaching some of the stuff. Look at this. Look at that. That is a knitted image on top of his canvas that he does for builds. Look at that. Look at that beautiful woman right in here. A big old long looking like wedding dress. Okay, but you got to understand, it's not just one image. There's an image here, and there's an image here. It's a build on a build on a build on a build. And here's a guy over here looking at him. Okay, the same. And look at this. You got another. It gets wild. I mean, I have fallen in love with this painting and the person that did this work for the talent, the ability that God has given this person on earth. So we're going to eliminate this. So you can see another cartoon here. Smiling face, eye, sitting here. He makes little lines. Reminds me of my father. Oh, rest his soul. Now I'm going to zip this one out. And I'm going to show you. Oh, just before I zip it out. Now, I want to show you something. It's going to be hard to prove, but I've seen it because I've gotten deep into it. Okay, not only here's a woman right here, but these, I thought they were openings and portholes into the looseness of the web. I've seen deeper and deeper and deeper on my $35,000 monitor, which blew up about 6 months ago. And inside was like a person in a closet with another person behind them looking through. He does not know when to quit. And I do not either. I did this whole deal with for the Passion of Love. And that's what I call my book, Passion of Love. Now, if you actually look at this, here's a head, and they're laying. See? Okay? It's really, really trip. And if you really get into wanting to see, let me see if I can get this to be opened up as one big piece before I close out. Let's see if you can see it. Let me see. It's been a long time. It's been about a year before I've gotten into some of these other images that excite me on the magnificence that we have extremely talented people that have lived on this earth. Look at this. Look at that. I mean, that reminds me of my dog looking at me. An eye, and a nose, and a face. Okay, it's not a portrait. He was having fun. You can't say that's not a face. An eye, a mouth. That's images. Now, just remember what I might see and you don't because of shooting off of a 4K screen. Unfortunately, it's a 4K screen. I'm looking for a 16K supercomputer I'm going to get. And I hear the UK, Europe, I'm going to get one. Somebody give me one. Watch. I mean, I have to get a GoFundMe thing. I'm hoping somebody will jump in. This is something I want to do. I want to go around teaching what they have been missing. Now, in Leonardo da Vinci's work, I've broken a lot of his codes. I'm going to zip out of that for you to know. Now, again, that image was down in here, okay? And it may have been over here in some of these little spots. Now, here's another one that I want you to see. It is a knitted one. Now, I'm going to be going back to these in other YouTubes because it's just too little of time. But this is his tool. I love this, man. I'm telling you, this is so cool. I got about a dozen. You always over-exaggerate. At least a half a dozen to a dozen. I really stopped counting about 3 years ago. This black line is what he used to knit his knitting. This canvas, my opinion, is probably so strong you could pull a car. He knew his stuff, that's for sure. Look at that. That's not a borrowed up, rolled into a individual. That's a person's face. These are cartoons and faces that he uses. I've never known anybody to end up with somebody's artwork with tools in it. I couldn't even imagine somebody left his tools. If you really look at it, he even left us on the end. When I first had the wrong type of equipment, I thought many years ago that it was laid down on carpet at one time, got brushed up with dog hair. Now I had to keep blowing it up and blowing it up and blowing it up and getting into different very expensive images. And by the time I have a $500,000 invested, look at it. That's an eye and an eye. Boom. These are individuals. While he made his little mess over here, he was playing cartoons. I don't understand how this stuff didn't get screwed up all these years. Because it did not come with a frame in the sense of picture frame. And if you get, look at it. These images. Here's a person's nose, his eye. This is his build before he starts putting on. Look at, here's something. Here, watch this. Right here. Right here. Let's see if I can blow it up. And he's got one sideways. He's stuck in there in the beginning. Let me blow it up and see if it doesn't get pixelated. That is a person peeking out of the poke hole. I know it's hard. And this one's laying down. And then you got a white head right here. So it's both ways. This guy. Now, I kind of make a joke that if you want to talk about genius, I say he was not only the craziest 5-time genius with 5 straitjackets and then ran with 10,000 pounds of chain around him. Look at this. There it is. Smiling face. That's a mouth, an eye, and a heart-looking head with another body laying like an outside lounge chair using for the top of his head and one down below. I mean, that's reminds me of the great cartoon artist in Sonoma County and Schultz. I hate to think anybody thinks I'm infringing or using somebody else's, but you know, it's imagination. It's called stylist, and if I want to make a straight line as a stick and bend it, and call it you know, Mr. Flexible Star or Straw or Stick. And that's whatever you want it to be. And here's another face. Hey, and here's another one right here. It's the same. Oh, excuse me. It's the same one. Oh, here's another one right here. There's just so many. He's looking up. Here's his head. He's sitting right in here. He did his build. And what's kind of funny, the back of this painting, these things don't blow through. In other words, it's like he triple canvassed this thing. But it does. Whoops, sorry. But it doesn't look like he did, in a sense. I don't know how he did it. Let me make sure I didn't knock that out. Okay, didn't. All right, now we're back to work and see if I can get my big shoulder from bumping the works here. So I think you got the point. I'll get heavier into it. I'll have to check out this YouTube, see how good it is. But I got a lot more coming here. Zip that out. Now I want to show you something. Now those up first were, again, the openings. Okay. Sometimes they're within some openings within that might be a micro that you can't see that is damaged. But here's one that is in her eye. Now we're talking, these images I've been showing you are in my painting, MiDion. And I have over 40 photos to show you, but I'm only going to probably show you maybe, I might show you half today. I'm very tired. I've been stressed out trying to get this all done. Now this is the one section. This is one section of her eye. Now, for example, let me open this up. If you were to see that little itty bitty dot right there, that's there, okay? And that is the whole image. It's not her whole eye. This is like, what's that? About 1/5 of her whole eye right here being shown. And these are all these images he put in here. These are not just paint. Now, and I don't believe he ever just painted. Everything was an extreme purpose. But if you can see, this is a man's face. This is an upside down man with his head that makes this face. And then there's another body that makes his cheek and another piece. And then you got another body here and another body for his forehead and another one and another one and another one and another one all for his hair. And then he has a little bear being built by another 20. And that's just this little section. Now inside each one, if I had me a 250 meg digital laser camera, which I would have to really see if there's one better than that now, which I heard Walt Disney and Warner Brothers have, to find out if it actually penetrates even deeper. But I have yet to find a good camera. And we're also talking depth of field. But if you take a look, this also right here is an outline, a pasty outline like a Vaseline of person, a face and a face, kind of like the happy and sad symbol for an actor. And here's like a Santa Claus face. And here's another face and a shoulder. Now each piece of these, each one that builds each one, you're going to see tons and tons and tons more images. Now if you turn this body, here's a shoulder, here's a shoulder, here's a head with a nose, here's a head looking this way, and here's a head on the shoulder with a body going this way. The man would not stop. And if you take a look here, here's a round head. And it goes on and on. And here's a face, here's a face, here's a face. Okay? This particular image, I have to research, but I'm almost positive that is the one in which he did his drawing in the diary that actually has the